It's time to close out this USL Championship Saturday night from Chandler, Arizona and Wild Horse Pass Stadium. Phoenix Rising welcomes Oakland Roots in for their USL Championship debut. Tonight's match is presented by Equality Health. With Devin Kerr, I'm Josh Eastern. Thanks for being with us. The first time we're taking a look at Oakland Roots in 2021 in the USL Championship. Well, this week's player to watch presented by Pacific Office Automation is Santi Moar. What a game in the opener.
What a performance he put together, Santi Moar, in that opening match victory against San Diego Loyal. He was a man on fire. The Spaniard loved to dance for New Mexico United. Had to sit ringside, if you will, last time out because Junior Flemings was in some type of form in 2020, but he has stepped up and answered every single call in the 2021 season. 2 assists and a goal in dramatic fashion. 4-1 to the victors in that match.
And welcome to the USL Championship Oakland Roots, a club founded in July of 2018 and have spent the last couple of years playing in NISA, the 3rd division of American soccer's pyramid. They finished 2nd in the 2020 Fall Championship. Their first USL Championship signing, Salim Muhammad from New Mexico United.
They bring a young boy home, California bred, but understood that they needed to set the precedent early. They get that in Salim Muhammad. They'd added some quality names. Chuy Enriquez, Volfal, Linda Mafeka, Tyler Blackwood, all look to make an impact on the road.
Well, let's see what they can do in game number 1. Phoenix Rising looking for win number 2. It's Phoenix, it's Oakland, lineups and first kick. Coming up next from Wild Horse Pass.
Equality Health is giving doctors more time to be doctors, so they can give you the care you deserve. Ask if your doctor is part of the Equality Health Network today. Equality Health. Caring is back.
In an era of online retail where everything is just a few clicks away, buying a car should be no different. That's why at Carvana, you can buy a car 100% online. We made it easy to browse, view, and buy from over 10,000 cars. You can even trade in your old car, all while binge watching your favorite TV show. Afterwards, we'll deliver your car to you, or you can pick it up from one of our car vending machines. Either way, your car comes with a 7-day return policy. So grab a seat, relax in your comfy pants, and enjoy the new way to buy a car at Carvana.
The unknown is not empty. It's a storm that crashes and consumes, replacing thought with worry. But one thing can calm uncertainty: an answer. Uncovered through exploration, teamwork, and innovation. An answer that leads to even more answers. Mayo Clinic. You know where to go.
The teams making their way out tonight, Phoenix Rising and Oakland Roots from Chandler, Arizona and Wild Horse Pass Stadium. The second game in Phoenix Rising's new home venue in 2021. Let's take a look at tonight's starting lineups for Coach Rick Shantz and Phoenix Rising.
Love this phrase, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Now there is one change though, and a big name at that. Ben Lute in goal. We'll get to him in a second. This high-flying, high-powered offense of Phoenix Rising admits they don't need the ball to do a bunch of damage. They will concede the possession battle because they are clinical in the final third. So let's take a look at that goalkeeper. Ben Lute on loan from FC Cincinnati. That is your 2020 USL Championship Goalkeeper of the Year. Spent most of his time under Louisville City in the tutelage of John Hackworth and Danny Cruz. They drew earlier tonight with the injuries that went on for Phoenix Rising and Rick Shantz. They had to find some help. That's a quality addition in between the pipes. And what does it look like for Oakland Roots? What we saw in the preseason takes similar form, except for the right back position. Memo Diaz is going to step in, and Akeem Ward, who is situated on the right, is going going to come to left back. Max Ornstill, another one of those local products, spent most of his time for Timbers, paired next to Tarek Morad. They're going to have their hands full tonight. They have to find a way to get those quality pieces in Chuy Enriquez, Lidu Mfeka, and Jeremy Bokila up top, running downhill to challenge the backline of Phoenix Rising and Ben Loon.
So handshakes being exchanged between both sides. It gives us time to look at tonight's injury report, brought to you by Spooner Physical Therapy. And for Phoenix Rising, a couple of goalkeepers on this list.
That's exactly why they brought Ben Loon in. And coming into the first match, they knew that Zach Lubin had picked up a little bit of injury. What's the timeline on that? See if you can grab that from the coaching staff. But Andre Rawls came up lame just at the tail end of the match, and it was a cause for concern. Lalo Delgado was the one they would turn to. He would finish the match off, but they knew immediately their two number ones in Rawls and Lubin had fallen off, and they needed reinforcements. In steps Ben Loon. It's a good bit of business, Josh. The fact that you're able to pick up the goalkeeper of the year from the USL Championship in 2020 on loan as basically your third option in goal.
And coming into this season, Phoenix Rising had three really solid goalkeepers on this roster with Lubin and Rawls, and then Lalo Delgado, who you mentioned came in last week, and then you get a guy like Ben Loon to come in. The strong get stronger. And a look at the head man for Oakland Roots, Jordan Farrell. Good conversation with him yesterday, taking over at this head coaching position. Here in the past couple of weeks, he's spent time in this role in the past when Oakland Roots were in NISA, and he feels really confident coming into this season and very excited to represent the city of Oakland.
He should be, for sure. They've assembled a nice squad, and again, everybody talks about culture, and it's very difficult for organizations to get that right. There are a few that have got it right on both sides of the field. Oakland Roots, they've started off correctly off the field. Whether it be PR, their involvement in the community, which is a big one for me, and we'll talk about that as the night goes on. And now the opportunity to showcase all the pieces that they put into this puzzle. Tyler Blackwood, we've seen him seasons past. He's been in the East, he's been in the West. He's matched up against Phoenix Rising, and he's ready to go.
And look at those new kits, the colorful numbers on the back of the mosaic. We are just about set to go. It's Phoenix Rising in black. It is Oakland Roots in those silver or white kits. We're about to get this one started. Tonight's referee is Elton Garcia. Second game at home for Phoenix Rising in their new home venue. And officially, the Oakland Roots, welcome to the USL Championship. And welcome to Wild Horse Pass, where this Roots side will go up against one of the class teams in this league in Phoenix Rising. And of course, Rising coming off of that 4-1 win against San Diego last time out. Dominating performance from Rick Schantz's side. And we'll see what they have here in game number 2 against this new Oakland Roots side. Ball played down the channel and straight out of play, looking for Solomon Asante. When talking with Jordan Farrell yesterday, he said, when talking about just the city of Oakland, he said the beauty of Oakland is how multifaceted it is. We recognize Oakland is the epicenter for championing human rights, and he says he wants to bring some of that, some of the art, some of the good facets of the city of Oakland into the style of play that they use on the field, using some of that individuality, but when they need to come together, they can as a team. It'll be interesting to see how that shakes out here in game number 1 and as this season continues. Gonna play this up top. Possession won right back from Phoenix Rising.
It's like throwback to 1990s AYSO shape jersey.
Well, it's interesting about this Oakland Roots team, as Asante will pick this up, but he was in an offside position. They've had success at the NISA level, but how do you carry that over into a brand new league?
Well, it's very difficult to jump to any league, yet alone to jump levels as well. And there is a difference in overall quality and style when you reference NISA and USL Championship. I think the fact that they have established such a good basis for themselves off the field, Josh, is what I keep going back to, because that's usually an area that a lot of clubs struggle with. You know, they have an identity on the field and they know, okay, if we go get these players, we play in this style. Here's the coach we want. Here's our captain. But they don't get the community to band around them. Oakland Roots haven't had that problem, and they haven't for quite some time. Many a time when we see a team step into the USL Championship, you're talking about a brand new franchise that has never been on the field together, no experience at all. That's not the case. You know, a couple of these guys have been around for a few years, the front office as well, coaching staff. They know what's expected of them. More importantly, they know what that vision is to be in the future. Now they just got to get it right on the field. You know, you got to make sure that the trials and tribulations that they're going to go through give them the opportunity to have success. And I have no doubt about it, the pieces they put in place may take some time, but they'll get there.
And they really went through it during the preseason, and they did not win a game. They played Tacoma, they played San Jose Earthquakes, they played Sac Republic, Las Vegas, they drew with Santa Clara. They lost most of those games. And the only draw coming against Santa Clara. Dadashov will try to latch onto this. He was in an offside position as well. And getting the start in goal for Oakland is Zeus de la Paz. 26-year-old out of the Netherlands. Last season he played actually with Oldham Athletic in England, and this will be a foul going against Oakland Roots.
And that is one of the focal points that Rick Schantz talked about. Bokila, that big frame, the Democratic Republic of Congo. Really experienced football at a multitude of levels globally as well. Netherlands, Belgium, Russia, China, Turkey, Qatar, Romania. Well versed for sure. A couple loan stints in there too. Make sure that enough opportunities are coming his way. 103 goals in 339 appearances. That's not too bad. Can he be the focal point up top as this team tries to build back to front? That intermittent press that was much more apparent in the opening game for Phoenix Rising. They run a couple of different stunts out here in the West, and Oakland Roots will become very familiar with it and early on. Again, this team, still one of my favorite quotes that I've ever heard from Rick Schantz about the style they like to impose on their opposition. Referee blows the whistle, watch out, here it comes.
A player down here for Oakland. Tawal Fall picking himself up off the turf. Lambert getting tangled up. Jordan Farrell said coming into this game, a good chance for us to hit the ground running. So the perspective doesn't change coming into this new league, and said maybe we could surprise Phoenix in this first game. Haven't seen them in a competitive match with this group of players assembled. Ball pumped into the area. Bokila almost there, but Lunt able to get down and make the catch.
Remember, only a few teams have been able to come in here and slay the Dragon. 2 losses in 25 regular season matches. The 2 that were able to do that, San Diego Loyal, of course, at the tail end of last season, and then you got to go all the way back to 2019 on the championship run from the Real Monarchs, who actually did it twice in the span of a couple weeks. Of course, the second one was en route to their USL Championship final victory in 2019 over Lou City, 3-1 in Louisville. Couple draws in here, though. You know, the start of that record-breaking season, Josh, didn't exactly start the way that they wanted to. Couple of draws at the beginning. That's where that rivalry against New Mexico United was formed. There was the sparring match that was Colorado Springs. A lot of people pretty worried early on out here in the Valley of the Sun. Of course, that song was being sung by a different tune. 20 games, not unbeaten. Winning streak.
Wins,
which
yeah.
is far and away the best we've ever seen within the USL Championship.
You mentioned Real Monarchs in there. They actually came from 2 goals down to draw with San Antonio tonight. Team I know you're very high on coming into this season and could potentially challenge Phoenix when it comes playoff time.
Well, apparently they just beat each other up tonight. San Antonio and Real Monarchs. You and I were on the Louisville game, and they're 2-2. It was. They finished with the draw, but apparently there was just fouls left and right, cards all over the pitch, 2 red cards. And the fact that Santiago Patino did not end up on the score sheet, hard to believe. Of course,
you were singing about him earlier.
And we were privy to an opening day hat trick from that young man.
Ball rolled in and it's sent out. Corner kick for Phoenix Rising. Tonight's corner kicks are brought to you by Carvana.
Andrea, I do feel like I'm a hair dark on most of the field except for dead center.
They'll take this one short. Asante towards the near post, and it's knocked away. King tries to keep this one in. Moar. The flag stays down. He's onside. Santi Moar to the end line and taken off the ball. And here comes Oakland.
Agreed.
Switch of play. And now Phoenix back in transition. Dadashev up ahead. Moar on the ball. And he's taken off. Oh, a giveaway at the back. Dadashev on the turn. Big save. And there's the follow. Solomon Asante. Back on the score sheet in 2021 for Phoenix Rising.
It's a mistake playing out in this fashion, and great pressure by Phoenix Rising. Oakland Roots trying to bypass it. They had collected service, tried to come one direction, and then right here, just a little careless, coming right back through the middle. Can't take a chance like this. Ball up over the top of all fault. Gets away from him, not his fault. It's a hospital one. Their striker unleashes, and super solo to the rescue. It's a good save by De La Paz, but unfortunately needs a little bit of help when he coughs this up. And the speedy little Ghanaian just tucks it home.
And that goal is brought to you by Arizona Federal Credit Union. Solomon Asante in the 10th minute, coming off a season in which he scored 8 goals and had 9 assists. One of 2 players to surpass 40 goals and 30 assists in the USL Championship. First back-to-back MVP. The list goes on and on for Asante. And here he is in 2021, back on the score sheet. It only took about 10 minutes for Phoenix to get going. And now how does Oakland respond? Into the corner. Fight for that loose ball, and Dadashev just plays it off an Oakland player and out for another corner. Asante stands over this. He'll whip this in. Back post. Lambert's there. Into the middle. De La Paz gets bumped. And the referee will blow his whistle, and that's a foul. The best play on a new Ford is at Sanderson Ford, Arizona's largest Ford dealership. Asante. Switch of play. Didn't quite get there. Flood will knock this back for Musa. Another long ball through, and De La Paz will take this. So we talked with Rick Schantz this week. He said about that San Diego game, a tremendous physical effort. He thought the intensity defensively really dominated the game. He thought his players followed the tactical instructions pretty much to a T. You could see it reflect in the score line.
Well, that's got to be the biggest takeaway there, Josh, because to be fair to San Diego, they weren't overwhelming in performance, Phoenix Rising. Now, they executed for sure, but tactically, they were brilliant. You know, the little sloppy playing out of back at times, struggle with some of the press, but San Diego really shot themselves in the foot with their inability to play out of the back. And they might struggle with this in the same token, Oakland Roots, by trying to play off their back line if this man can't continue. Volfall, their captain, had the opportunity to chat with him yesterday. Real good vision as to what he wanted this to look like, the opportunity presented in front of him. The front office paired Volfall next to Matias Visore. Feel like that's a great combination for them. But inside 15 minutes, seeing him go to the ground and the armband coming off does not bode well.
It looks like his night could be over, and Zeus De La Paz in conversation with Jordan Farrell.
Well, you would imagine that this would have to be Salim Muhammad.
Yeah.
You know, their inaugural signing. Local boy who was under the care of Troy Lassane past couple of seasons, New Mexico United.
Scored a really big goal last year, too.
Yep, at the central midfielder role. That would be the easiest change in terms of players that we have seen. I will say, though, there's a couple of these guys flying under the radar, right, that have an opportunity to surprise a lot of teams within this league. That was one of the messages that really took me from the conversation with Jordan Farrell and the rest of the front office staff. Some unsung heroes, the uncut gems, if you will, like Bokila up top, Visore in the midfield, and their goalkeeper De La Paz. How does that play out, though? Because they do have multiple options on the bench.
Substitution for Oakland Roots SC.
It's Danny Flores, the 19-year-old, spending some time in the Union Academy. Played last year with Philadelphia Union 2, made 16 appearances, scored 1 goal. So an experienced USL Championship player in Flores. And he'll come on for his Oakland Roots debut tonight.
Spent time both under Brendan Burke and most recent addition, last year, Marlon LeBlanc. Wonder as to whether or not it's a big question for everybody what his future holds, because he is so talented. Everybody wants to get their hands onto him. Currently committed to Virginia Tech under Mike Brizendine, who just recently bowed out of the NCAA tournament. Good opportunity either way that he chooses, professional or collegiate.
Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Quick throw incoming. Dadashev. Another corner kick for Phoenix. A look at that new video board that has been making the rounds on social media throughout the last couple of weeks.
That thing better not start talking to us again. Freaked me out.
Comes a ball in and just wide, out for a goal kick.
You truly know somewhere that Jose Bosch is behind that.
Sure.
Right behind the scenes. I know he's sitting up in the press box. You know, at the end of the game, you ever get an opportunity, hang out. Jose Bosch on the 1s and 2s, throws his playlist on. Of course, front office staff for Phoenix Rising, but I'm sure that he's behind the scenes working his magic. Fingers fast at play on the keyboard, seeing exactly who's paying attention.
Quinn flying in. And on the turn, here comes Oakland back the other way. Wide for Blackwood. Quick little give and go. There's Flores. Well, for Phoenix, it's almost a completely new back line, although some familiar faces, of course, with James Musa back. Ryan Flood gets another start at left back, the local product from Tempe. Tried out for Phoenix Rising 3 times, Ryan Flood, and finally, third time's the charm, right? Gets the signing and nearly scored on his debut last week. A beautiful strike.
It was kind of funny how that all played out, and talking to Rick Schantz the day after the match, as he gets caught up here in the midfield, Ryan Flood. Talked about that moment where, you know, good on him for perseverance underneath Dave Flood and the head coach of FC Arizona. But he also makes you wonder, they were so high on him. Why didn't you sign him earlier? Performances like that. That's the challenge they're talking about. Watch him as he comes back through here. That's a difficult one. Players on the ground coming up for it. It's extended away from Ryan Flood's body. It's very subjective in terms of the call from whichever referee is sitting in the middle at that point in time. You can understand the argument from Schantz, but at the same point in time, you can't fault Oakland for going after it either.
Too much power on that pass for Quinn to possess, and Oakland can look back upfield. Slipping this through, it's cut off. Bokila on the back heel. Bokila wide. And it's a goal kick. What a chance there for Oakland Roots to equalize.
This is the power that Rick Schantz talked about in scouting. And we've heard about the preseason performances from Jeremy Bokila. Watch him just post up here at the top of the 18. The two center backs, Musa and Adewale, they don't want to get in trouble. Adewale coming back in here, but he's got to apply more pressure. You don't want to foul, but you cannot allow someone of this caliber to have free reign on your low knee.
Dadashov looking upfield. Dadashov will have a go. Bounces into the arms of De La Paz. Don't forget, if you can't make it to the game, you can watch Phoenix Rising Soccer live on CW 61 Arizona and channel 1006, or stream it live on the ABC 15 app on Roku and other streaming platforms. CW 61 Arizona, your home for Phoenix Rising. Looking forward to being with you all season long. Game number 2, of course, next week a big one for Phoenix as they'll head east back to Tampa to take on the Tampa Bay Rowdies. National TV audience for another week for Phoenix Rising. Here's Akeem Ward. There gets knocked down. Now it's Flores, knocked out of play. Throw in for Phoenix. That'll be a foul on Darnell King. It was such a big signing a year ago. Natural right back, but had to play some left back a year ago for Rick Schantz. Made 18 starts, scored a goal, had an assist. Couldn't have asked for much more from Darnell King a season ago.
Well, the good news is they've gotten him back on that right-hand side. You know, this is a plug-and-play system at the end of 2020 for Phoenix Rising with injuries and overall form. Trying to figure out exactly what direction they were going to head Of course, they brought in Damian Lowe. Another turnover, and a couple of guys slipping on this field right now, Josh, from both organizations.
Switch of play.
And the fact that they were able to get Darnell King, though, back on the right, because he was, you know, he suited the project well, right? He did his job, wasn't a liability. When I talked about it coming into the year about how they had to move so many different pieces, it was, okay, we're not happy with left back. We're going to take our right back, put him at left back. We're going to move our center back to outside back. We got to plug the inside. And it was a back line that still did well for themselves, but it wasn't optimal.
Moar, Aiden Quinn, headed out of play. Corner kick, Phoenix.
And especially when you have this 1-2 punch on the right-hand side of Solomon Asante and Darnell King, you pair them together. You look at someone like Aiden Quinn in the offseason. Great goal, opening timeout.
Sent in, Lambert, deflecting, just wide. Another corner kick, the flag stayed down. I think that's what Tarek Morad was arguing for.
I think everybody thought that he was in an offside position, but definitely did a good job just drifting in behind.
Already 5 corners for Phoenix. Keeping the pressure on. Played short for Asante. Plays towards the top of the box. Heavy first touch. Asante will get this back. Another ball in. The header is just over and out of play.
Well, James Musa, what sort of impact is he going to have playing off of the back line in his new role as center back? Of course, Lambert into the midfield. Little two-man game down in the corner. Santimar sprayed it out, and secondary chance coming back across. Good job by all the guys in the black jerseys to stay on line. There's enough pace and enough height for Musa to get something on this. And just before that, Lambert, keep an eye at the bottom of the screen because there's a lot of anger, but look at the step. Well done by Lambert. He times it perfectly. And there's frustration by Ornstill, but Akeem Ward was actually the one who kept him on. He stepped up just at the last minute, but it was too little, too late.
Asante leads this break, switches it for Moar. Trying to slip in Beccaro, and it's knocked away. Lambert recovers for Phoenix. Moar again, clipping this in. De La Paz. Did he get a touch on that? Yeah, it looks like it'll be a corner kick. The corner's starting to mount for Phoenix Rising. Asante. Quinn trying to whip that in near post and out of play. The USL is committed to supporting the LGBTQ+ community. Through the Forever Proud project, the USL will strive to create safe and welcoming environments for all fans, players, employees, and partners. Learn more at uslsoccer.com/forever-proud. Beccaro. Well, this will stay in play. Akeem Ward does well down this left side.
Some great work by Akeem Ward, huh? Just to keep his balance, stay upright, number one, yet alone gain control of the ball and then play out of the back. He's got his hands full. Solomon Asante, Darnell King, we talked about a second ago. Keep an eye on John Beccaro, who, with his relationship with Solo, will come out of the pocket, rotate down into the channel. They like to invert themselves. Also cut back inside as well. Always trying to find their point man, Rufat Dadashov. And everything in transition. I did talk about coming into the year what the expectations were for this team offensively, and I said they were going to have to evolve, Josh, because teams are willing to sit back. You know, they know they don't have to toe the line with Phoenix Rising in order to have success. They can sit back, defend, and find a way to pick and choose their moments on the other side of the ball. Historically, the teams that Rising have struggled against are the ones that have battened down the hatches. They've sat back, they've allowed possession to be maintained in front of them. And though you're conceding a lot of greenery on the field itself, you're also compacting them into a much smaller space, and that's not their strong suit. You know, they want to use their speed, this high-flying offense. They want to go in transition. And 28 minutes in, though it wasn't exactly the best start, you're starting to see that from Oakland Roots. You know, they're paying their respect offensively, so they are willing to sit back and allow Rising to have a bit more ball, but defensively, they're carrying better structure.
And you saw when they had that one chance back the other way, Jeremy Bokila was nearly able to equalize, so it's taking advantage of those opportunities. They might be few and far between tonight. And here's another one as Ward goes down on the challenge from King, and a quick yellow card for Darnell King.
That's the transitional move for sure here that gets him in trouble, Darnell King. Is it enough? You can see him lean into this for sure. You know, his argument is he doesn't touch him. It's really hard to tell from that angle. I give him the benefit of the doubt, to be honest, for Akeem Ward. It is interesting that he goes right to the book 29 minutes in, but with all the space available for the Oakland Roots to go, you can understand it.
Be Lindo Mafeka standing over this for Oakland Roots. Ball whipped in towards the top of the 18. Headed away by Flood. Comes Oakland again, ball clipped in, back post, rising up was Flores. Bokila, still not cleared. Finally on the follow, appeal for handball. And that was a handball on Bokila.
This guy carries some kind of presence inside the box, Josh. Let me tell you, it seems like he's everywhere when this team gets inside of the 18. Just look at the defenders that he attracts as well. 1, 2, 3 different Rising jerseys stepping in. Ben Lutz not sure as to whether or not he should come off, and as this ball gets fired at the goalkeeper, it's making its way to the right side of Ben Lutz. It comes off the hand of Bokila.
Arizona Complete Health is the exclusive health plan partner of Phoenix Rising Football Club, providing each member the tools they need to successfully manage their own health. No matter your age or stage in life, Arizona Complete Health has you covered. And it'll be a corner kick now coming for Oakland Roots, the first of the game for the Roots.
Let's see if they can find an aforementioned stature of Bokila. Listed at 6'2", he's every bit of more than that, I can tell you that much.
It'll be an in-swinger here. It's the penalty spot. Lambert got his head on it. You feel like this team could be pretty dangerous on set pieces this season. A big body like Bokila up front, Valfal, who unfortunately had to come off injured for Oakland. Some of those center backs coming up as well. Here's Ward. Trying to switch the play and miscommunication. Ryan Flood. Oh, look at this. Played into space for Solomon Asante. Asante in the open field, an option in the middle. Cut this one back, looking for Dadashov. It was read quite well by that back line for Oakland. And it's kept in play down this near side.
They're still trying to find a way to have a presence on the exterior. And they've switched now. Tyler Backwood starting on the left has gone over to that far right, which from what we saw in preseason was the movement. Chuy Enriquez, as good as he was in his time under RGV, just didn't take shape either for San Antonio, Alan Marcina, or Ian Russell at Reno in 2020. but he loves that ability to cut inside, namely on this left-hand flank. Has the confidence to do it even when maybe the night isn't exactly coming to him. He'll go find the game. And they find a way to get those two guys on with the movement we've already seen out of Jeremy Bokila. Now you're just asking for the likes of Mfeka in the midfield, who has been very quiet, but he's also sandwiched in between Lambert, Beccaro, and Quinn.
Such a strong midfield for Phoenix Rising. Lambert at the base of the three. Here's Moar. Trying to switch the play. Dadashov now battling for it. Dadashov on the turn. And just wide. De La Paz, happy to see that one go out of play. And it's a goal kick.
This has been my major cause of concern for the Roots backline, that when these balls are going up, it's been very difficult for the secondary ball to be won. And the goalkeeper, the center backs, and the outside backs as well. Josh, as you watch the secondary opportunities coming through for Phoenix Rising. Of course, the goal off the deflection by the goalkeeper. But that's the fourth time in the opening 34 minutes that these chances are spilling right down the middle, too. I understand you're not going to be able to win every single ball, but if you can't win that first one, at least push it away from danger. Instead, you're putting it right back into the danger zone.
We saw that last week with Trey Muse against this Phoenix Rising team. It's all about just getting players in the box and having them in that position.
Well, the other part of it is as well is if the ball comes up over the back, and I'll use Tarek Morad as an example, for instance, not calling him out at all. Let's be clear here. If the ball comes up over him and he's got Dadashov in front of him, if he can't win that first ball, and the way that his momentum is carrying him because he's backtracking, and that ball is going to come down the middle, now you're starting to rely on your holding midfielders or your center back, Mac or Ornstill, to step up and win that second one, and we haven't seen that. That's the issue here, is that it's not only coming back through the middle, but it's giving itself an opportunity to drop down in, and usually the initial player from Rising is able to get back onto it.
So Oakland looks to build out, but look at all these black jerseys applying some pressure. And there's the giveaway. Beccaro and Quinn. Lambert through the middle. Beccaro just getting out of his way there. Gets it wide for Asante. Early ball in. Dadashov was just a bit behind him. The offside flag up.
It's a beautiful sequence from Phoenix Rising, though, which started on this near touch line. Couldn't find a way to play out between Beccaro and Aiden Quinn. Slowly, Darnell King just ushers it to the other side. You whip it all the way back around. Lambert then forces the issue up the middle. And we allude to the fact that they like to play quickly when moving into the final third. That doesn't mean they're incapable of slowing things down. They can knock it around with the best of them.
Taken away by King there on the turn. Beccaro runs through for Quinn, who gets it back as King continued his run. And this one cleared away. Moar. Coming off that performance last week, a goal and 2 assists. Beccaro scored the first goal last week for Phoenix Rising in this new stadium. Asante. Beccaro plays it through the middle. Moar as Dadashov goes down. Asante. Patient build-up here from Phoenix, and now it's knocked away. How quickly can Oakland go back upfield? I find it interesting looking at this Phoenix Rising midfield, because when you go back a year ago, it felt like Rick Schantz was looking for that right trio in the middle. You had Piquero out there most of the time, of course Lambert at the base, but they were looking for that third, and then they bring in Aiden Quinn, and Rick Schantz telling us this week, we told Aiden Quinn, as the shot comes on and out of play, we want Aiden to focus on being the best left center midfielder that he can be, and he can be for this team. And it seems like that trio is working out so far, at least through the opening 2 games.
I discussed this with Mike Watson, that opening match against San Diego Loyal, Josh, that Aiden Quinn no longer has to carry the burden that he did at Orange County. And that's not a knock on Orange County and their system. It's just a different system and a different ask of a midfielder in Aiden Quinn. And coming in, you now have 3 midfielders, all of which are more than capable of dropping in, helping out defensively. But the fact that you have Quinn and Lambert that can play an out-and-out 6 role as well as the 8, yet still be able to progress onto the offensive side of the ball, is why this is now a multi-tiered and multi-dimensional look for Phoenix Rising. It's not so traditional that we've seen in years past where James Musa played in the 6. You know, Lambert was just holding there and allowed the other 2 guys to run around in front of him. If Lambert stepped up, Jordan Schweitzer played deep. The luxury of having all of these weapons down in the middle, it's a difficult ask defensively for guys like Fisorde and Danny Flores, because there's so many runs you have to track. But that's why you have to rely on communication behind you, like Max Ornstill and Tarek Morad, because they are so active on the ball. And by the way, as all of that's going on, you still have to be aware of Solomon Asante and Santi Moar.
It just seems like it comes in waves for Phoenix Rising opponents. Five minutes to go in this first 45. Oakland had a good chance to equalize through Jeremy Bokila. Aside from that, it's been mostly Phoenix. A plethora of corner kicks in this first half so far for Phoenix. 6 to be exact. And the goal, of course, coming from Solomon Asante after 10 minutes.
What's interesting is the way that the Roots are trying to build right now. It's almost chasing your own tail. Danny Flores stepping up in, and at certain points in time, it's looking like 4 flat next to Mfeka, Julian Enriquez, and Tyler Blackwood. Of course, Bokila just in front of them. But the problem is Fisorde is finding himself in these one-off situations where he's looking to link up with players, yet he's blocked off because John Piquero, Aiden Quinn, and Lambert have really shut down his resources to find those playmakers. You would expect, as we just saw a second ago, Danny Flores to start to drop back and help out a little bit more so that they can find a way to play through centrally.
Asante tried to run away, but a throw-in coming for Oakland. Switch a play for Ward. So far the possession almost 50-50. Lambert wins that challenge. Strong presence in that midfield and wins a free kick.
This is some of that movement I talked about for Lambert, Josh, about how he can sit in that 6 row but still have the ability to stretch the game going forward. Huge tackle on the interior. And as he gets tangled up, no problem whatsoever, not just carrying the momentum, but the opposition and the ball with him. Yeah, he gets knocked down again for sure, but that's that confidence that the Jamaican carries that has never wavered in his time here with Phoenix Rising.
There's Lambert getting in there again. Now Flores. It's cut out looking for Bokila and Dadashav. Hands it off for Asante. Flood making the run upfield. Wide for Moar. He can keep this in play. And he does. Moar cross to the back post over everybody's head and out of play. The USL has some unfinished business. First, the Tampa Bay Rowdies welcome Phoenix Rising May 15th at 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2 in a rematch of the canceled championship final from 2020. Then League One takes the national TV stage for the first time when Greenville Triumph plays host to Union Omaha May 16th at 4 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2.
Any early predictions, Josh? Either one of those matches? We'll switch roles here. You can play the analyst.
I'm curious to see what Tampa Bay can do against this Phoenix side, because it looks like Phoenix has been one of the stronger teams in the early going. But you go out east, and people always talk about how different the East and the West are. So how does that clash? We'll see it a lot this season. And then good old League One, Greenville and Omaha. Greenville's been the class of League One. If you need a little crash course, you can call me up. But Omaha, new kids on the block. And it took them to the last day to get in the final last year. I know you have you're excited for that one.
My boy Jason Mims.
There he is. Chance here for Phoenix, over the top and out of play. Would have been spectacular from Quinn. La Paz will put this back into play. Tonight's stoppage time brought to you by Sprouts. It's one additional minute at the end of the first 45. Quick throw incoming. There's still a ball on the field. Oakland cuts in field. Top of the box, looking to get a shot away. Ward on the overlap, cross comes in and knocked away by Adewole. Give me one more chance for Oakland. How would you grade out this first 45 minutes for Oakland Roots?
Not poor by any means. You know, given the fact that it's their first game in the USL Championship on the road, Phoenix Rising, that's a big ask, Josh. And, you know, I would say outside of probably the opening 10, 15 minutes that were very shaky for them, they did settle down. There's still some concerns that I have, but I could make the same argument for Phoenix Rising, who were choppy at best. Again, the San Diego Loyal game, they deserve to win 4-1. But Loyal were poor on their own without the help of Phoenix Rising taking over the match. And I think you're seeing some of that spill over here. Good news is a little Ghanaian Solomon Asante super solo back at it. First goal of the season in the 10th minute. That is the only one as we head into halftime.
Well, Oakland Roots getting their first taste of the USL Championship here in 2021. And they're going up against the Western Conference champions in Phoenix Rising. And we're showing them how it's done through 45 minutes, a 1-0 advantage, and the MVP's on the score sheet. Halftime here from Wild Horse Pass. It's Phoenix 1, it's Oakland 0.
Welcome to the Phoenix Rising Halftime Show. I'm Craig Fouye alongside head coach Rick Schantz. Coach, let me just start with congratulations. You came away with a 4-1 win, 3 points in the home opener here at the brand new stadium. That had to be an unbelievable night for you guys.
It was spectacular. That's the only word I can think of. You know, the focus, the concentration that the players had and the coaching staff and the preparation in preseason, all of it kind of culminated, I think, in just this explosion of energy and desire to win for our fans. And you know, we talked about opening a new stadium and a new home, and they built a stadium in 52 days at the last one, and we didn't win in the first home game. We had actually lost that game. So some of our players remembered that and talked about it and said that we owe it to the Gila River Indian community and what they've done for us, and we have to protect their land and make this like a fortress. So I was really proud of the players.
And you had fans, right? You went through a year last year without them, but you had fans at this one.
5,000 felt like 50,000. I'll tell you, it was pretty awesome. Seeing the red smoke after we scored goals, and the video board was pretty cool too. It's really cool. It's like a soccer oasis in the middle of the desert.
You guys started real aggressive too. You came out of the chutes running and trying to get points on the board right away.
Preseason wasn't very good. We didn't win a lot of games, and I think the players were extremely motivated to show not only our fans, but you know, all the talking heads out there that had doubted us going into the season that we're still the Western Conference champions, and until the end of the season, we still have something to defend.
Even with new faces on the squad, right? You got some new guys.
Very much so. Yeah. It's a big point for us as a coaching staff, is to tell the new guys that it's their chance to earn their stripes. They came in and they're not just part of a winning culture. You have to continue the tradition. You have to continue the legacy of success here at Phoenix Rising. And I'm very proud of those guys because they held it up.
And to get out of the gates with 3 points, that's a nice start, right?
Oh, always. The first game of the season is extremely important. You know, you want, especially at home. You kind of have to win because it sets the tone, and going into the second week against a very good team, you have to be prepared.
When we come back here on the Phoenix Rising Halftime Show, we're going to talk about Oakland, tonight's opponent, and we'll look ahead to Tampa next week. You're watching the Phoenix Rising Halftime Show here on CW61.
At Arizona Federal, our passion is to help out the community where you live and work, because where you bank should make you feel good. Show your support for the home team with the Phoenix Rising Visa debit card. When you open a new account, you can score $100 just for using your card when you shop. How's that for an easy goal? Be a part of our commitment to the community. Arizona Federal Credit Union.
Pacific Office Automation is the one source for all of your business technology. Copiers and printers. Managed IT and cloud services. Unified communications and telephones. Security systems and cameras. Complete conference room packages. You need to partner with a total office solutions provider that gets it. Pacific
Self at Carvana.com.
Halftime here from Wild Horse Pass Stadium. Phoenix Rising 1, Oakland Roots 0. As we will take a look around the USL Championship news and notes from around the league, and the Clear Audio USL Player of the Week, Santiago Patino, after his hat trick against Colorado Springs.
Orlando City back in 2019. How about the fact that Phoenix Rising and Tampa Bay Rowdies in unfinished business?
Well, that'll be an interesting one next Saturday on ESPN2, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. The USL and ESPN schedule upcoming. 2 more games next weekend, and then, of course, June 3rd and June 23rd on ESPN Deportes. Jesus Acosta and Jose Rodriguez will be on the call for both of those games. So plenty more to come here from Wild Horse Pass Stadium. Phoenix Rising 1, Oakland Roots 0. Second half is right around the corner here from Chandler, Arizona.
Welcome back to the Phoenix Rising Halftime Show. Craig Fouye alongside head coach Rick Johnson. Coach, tonight's opponent, the Oakland Roots. A new team to the division, a new team to the USL Championship League. We don't know much about them. I know other than they parted ways with their head coach just about a week and a half ago, which is interesting.
Yeah, it's surprising, I think, to a lot of people. The interim coach for now was their previous head coach in the NISA League, so I don't think it's as big a change, you know, as a lot of people might feel. We've expected them to be very good and a tough challenge.
Moving up a division, right? They're now playing at a higher level. What do you know about them in terms of their players and what they can do?
Yeah, unfortunately, they didn't play last week, so it was we didn't get to watch them and didn't get to learn a whole lot from their first match. And I think USL has done it to us on purpose with the 3 toughest games to start the season. And with a team like Oakland, you know that they're very community-based. They've got a great fan support. With Marshawn Lynch as one of their owners, we're excited because it's nice to always have additional teams in the West Coast.
And let's look ahead to next week, too. You're going to Tampa Bay to take on the Rowdies. I mean, that was a game that was supposed to be the USL Championship game last year. You guys were in Tampa when it was canceled, right? What was that like? And I guess going back there now to kind of, is it a championship game now or is it a fresh season?
Well, it's a new season, and it's really, the game is worth 3 points, like any other game now. Yeah, we don't get to come home with a trophy, but we're getting to play a really, really good team, and we get to test ourselves against one of the best in the Eastern Conference, which we've never really been able to do in the regular season. So I know that's exciting. We're really looking forward to that challenge.
With that game coming up next week, tonight's game is not really a trap game, you hope, right?
No, it's a completely different challenge than what we faced against San Diego. You know, against San Diego, we had a bad preseason. You had a team that was really motivated to beat us. So it wasn't that difficult for me to get the guys fired up. But, you know, now tonight, we have to have that same concentration. And, you know, our fans really help us a lot. So hopefully it'll come through at the end of this.
And the new stadium is fantastic, right?
It's no better place to play right now. It's definitely the best field in the country and the best fans. You know, of course, I'm a little biased, but I love it here.
Head coach Rick Johnson here on the Phoenix Rising Halftime Show, second half, coming up right here on CW 61.
We're Carvana, the company who invented car vending machines and buying a car 100% online. Now we've created a brand new way for you to sell your car. Whether it's a year old or a few years old, we want to buy your car. So go to Carvana and enter your license plate, answer a few questions, and our techno wizardry calculates your car's value and gives you a real offer in seconds. When you're ready, we'll come to you, pay you on the spot, and pick up your car. That's it. So ditch the old way of selling your car and say hello to the new way at Carvana.
Pacific Office Automation is the one source for all of your business technology. Copiers and printers. Managed IT and cloud services. Unified communications and telephones. Security systems and cameras. Complete conference room packages. You need to partner with a total office solutions provider that gets it. Pacific Office Automation. Problem solved.
The unknown is not empty. It's a storm that crashes and consumes, replacing thought with worry. But one thing can calm uncertainty: an answer, uncovered through exploration, teamwork, and innovation. An answer that leads to even more answers. Mayo Clinic. You know where to go.
Getting set for the second half from Wild Horse Pass Stadium. Phoenix Rising 1, Oakland Roots 0. Time to look back at that first 45 minutes, our first half highlights. And plenty in that first half, mostly going Phoenix's way. We start in the 10th minute, and it was Phoenix winning this ball back in a good spot. It would eventually turn into the goal.
All starts with a good little press, and it's a bad ball played back to Volval, and you know, he can't really do anything about it, Josh. It's up and away from his body. He tries to get a touch to bring it down. Rufat Dadashov goes to work. Solomon Asante, stop me if you've heard this before. Deflection, back of the net. Super Solo out in front with Phoenix Rising 1-0. Let's turn up the pace a little bit. 20th minute. This is a good movement for Oakland Roots, and they were trying to find their 9. Jeremy Bokila, this is when you got a really good idea of what he's capable of in that striking position. It's going to be a handful all night long for James Musa, and Adewale sails just wide. Ben Lute can breathe a sigh of relief. Good ball back across, though. Everything in the first half was Santi Moar inverting on one side, trying to find support on the others. Didn't think that this was the best ball, but I said the Achilles heel by Oakland Roots was not taking advantage of the opportunity to clear ones off the line. Good news, doesn't end up in the back of the net. Phoenix Rising in the second half will be more clinical. That's the bad news. So Oakland Roots on the back line have to shore it up, and they have to find a way, Josh, to start to play through their playmakers in the midfield.
Look at the halftime stats. Much like last week, Phoenix Rising conceding a bit of possession, and Oakland Roots have that possession advantage.
Yep, Danny Flores, Vasori, thought they were better as the match went on. Definitely the final 5-10 minutes were much better from those two holding midfielders. And Feka in the 10 has to be more active. He's getting stuck tracking Lambert and Quinn too much. I understand that's an easy thing to do, but if you keep the game in front of you and push it side to side, that bodes very well for Oakland Roots. It is great that they're only down 1-0 at halftime.
So Bokila will put this back in play with Devin Kerr. I'm Josh Eastern. Thanks for joining us on this Saturday night, the final game on this USL Championship Saturday night. And 45 minutes to go from Chandler, Arizona. It's the USL Championship debut for Oakland Roots, and they are hanging in there right now. But can they find their first USL goal in this second 45 minutes, which is underway? It was a dominant start for Phoenix Rising, but still, when it's in that 1-goal differential, all it takes is one moment for Oakland and they're back level. And Musa will get this back into play for Lambert and taken off the ball, and Oakland will look upfield. Bokila up ahead. And Adewale back for Lute.
Well, the one issue Oakland Roots are going to have in trying to play that direct ball through, I know the speed is there for Bokila. The problem is it's also there for Adewale, an extremely athletic player that Phoenix Rising have brought onto this back line to accompany the makeshift center back in James Musa, who's not short of speed himself, but he's more of the angles and distributor as they try and build from back forward. Still think the best option for them is going to be working from outside in, finding the 9, playing him as the hold-up type man and playing off of him as well as the aerial route as opposed to those low balls down through the middle.
And you mentioned James Musa, and we talked with Rick Shantz about him this week and said positionally he was fantastic a week ago against San Diego. His natural position, you could say, is a deeper lying central midfielder. He was good in possession, a good passer, as you mentioned. And there he was again trying to find Quinn in that midfield.
And this back line and how it works going forward is all going to depend on the relationship that's cultivated between James Musa and Adewale. And the reason I say it is you just talked about positioning for James Musa. I would agree with that assessment by Rick Schantz. But the fact that they would like him to get more involved in the attack moving forward means that there are going to be times like we just saw a second ago and like you see now where this big ball up over the top where step into the midfields are going to happen.
Moar on the volley scores! Through the 5-hole. Route 1 football. Phoenix Rising double its advantage.
You know this long ball is going to come up over the top from James Musa. He just puts it out in space. Just talking about his ability to play off of the back line and find their focal pieces moving forward. With all the real estate available to him, a little bit of ball watching by Tarek Morad on the backside. Memo Diaz had pushed up. Santi Moar sees the space, and as he gets out in front of him, Josh, he recognizes he's the lone man moving into the final third. Has no support. Sometimes you got to do it on your own. For a guy that struggled for form in 2020 behind Junior Flemings, he has equaled his previous season's goal tally in 2 games as he bags his second of the season in consecutive matches.
And that goal is brought to you by Arizona Federal Credit Union. Santi Moar, you said last year was a bit waiting in the wings of Junior Flemings on that left side. And now he's getting the start, and what a start it's been. Asante deflected into the arms of De La Paz.
And conversely, because it was such a good movement, and you have to pay credit to the ball by Musa and the finish by Santi Moar, you do have to talk about the fact that it should have been better from the goalkeeper. Really small angle, knowing that this ball couldn't come square back across the 6. He had help on the weak side left shoulder. That ball's only going one place, within arm's reach either side of him or right down the middle. And unfortunately, the latter ends up getting him snake bitten, putting his team behind by 2.
This will be a yellow card for the previous foul on, that was Kevin Lambert.
Just Josh, right prior to the goal, where I was going with that, with James Musa and the relationship between he and Adewale, we became so familiar with the pairing of Corey Whelan and Damian Lowe at the end of the season and how good that was. It's going to be a different look. The athletic ability by Adewale will 100% always be there, but when Musa starts to make that step and he's the only center back, there's not a lot of experience in that 3-back type role for him, so he's got to be very careful, understand his surroundings, because the tendency that he has is he can recover very well. Sometimes he gets caught out, but he's got the wherewithal to recognize that maybe things are a little bit off kilter, and he can utilize his size and his speed to his advantage. With Musa stepping up in certain situations, helping usher this thing back to front, he's not always going to have that luxury, so you have to be very careful if you're Toby Adewale.
As King steps in, he'll take it forward now for Phoenix. Dadashev back for King. Dadashev will get this back, and his cross will go well out of play. And to finish up that talk about the back line, I'm curious what this back line will look like at the midway point of the season as it evolves, as you potentially bring in Joey Farrell at times, who has played in that center back role. Of course, Noah Billingsley's on the bench. There are some other pieces. Joey Calistri spent some time at outside back last year as well.
With a very high on Noah Billingsley, and you know, also you can throw Declan Wynn's name into the mix as well.
Yeah.
At that outside left back position, which, to be fair, coming in, even with the signings, you wondered what that spot was going to look like. That was the Achilles heel of this rising squad come 2020. And yet, as we sit here and talk about all of those changes and where they were good and where they were bad, of course, they still made their way to the final. So
They figure it out in the end, don't they? A couple of penalty kick shootout wins propelling them over Reno and then over El Paso in the Western Conference Final. De La Paz, dangerous there at the back, quick on his feet. We haven't called Ben Lunt's name much tonight. But of course, coming on loan from FC Cincinnati, the injuries to Lubin and Rawls. And what a big get is Ben Lunt for this Phoenix Rising side. You mentioned at the top, the USL Championship Goalkeeper of the Year at Lou City in 2020.
Think about the work that had to go in as well from like Bobby Dooley, the general manager, and the ability to get their hands on him, because going into that first matchup against San Diego Loyal, talking to Rick Schantz, said, you know, what does this look like for you as goalkeeping situation, and in terms of how this season plays out, who's your one? And he said, I don't want 1-1, I want 2. I always want 2 number ones, and if you look at historically what they've had, they have had that. You know, it was a little different last year, for sure. But basically, Zach Lubin and Carl Rudzinski ruled the roost the past couple of seasons. There was that transition where Waz handed off to Zach Lubin, and the statesman for Phoenix Rising stepped aside. Lubin took the reins, ran with it. 2 great ambassadors for the club. And in the absence of Zach Lubin, Andre Rawls was a fantastic addition, of course, on loan from the Colorado Rapids. And then immediately, when he goes down at the tail end of the Loyal game, you think, oh no, now what? And still, they're able to go out and get, for my money, probably the best goalkeeper in the USL Championship last year. And there are a couple guys that I would put alongside of him for sure.
He won Goalkeeper of the Year.
Some of the superlatives don't necessarily match to the players that go along with it. You know, the easy ones.
It looks good on paper.
Yeah, Golden Boot is an easy one, right? Give me the statistics and we can make that argument. But when, you know, positions that are voted on, and I'm not negating the fact that he deserved it. He 100% deserved that award. But there are some really good goalkeepers around the league. And let's just say top 3 for sure. But to be able to go from Lubin to Rawls to Ben Lunt, most teams would like the luxury of having the option of one of those guys.
Yeah.
Yet alone the fact that all 3 have walked through the doors in the past couple of weeks.
Here's Ward. After that flick, Musa clears it. Wins it back, running the edge of the area. Spinning out of Wole, cross into the middle. And Quinn just has to put this out of play. Corner kick, Oakland. It's a Carvana corner kick, first of this second half. Be an in-swinger. And Quinn knocks it clear. First 10 minutes of this second half expired. Cross comes in. To the end line, cross all the way through, and this tips off the net and out of play. If you're on the road or can't watch the match, turn on Sirius XM FC, North America's only 24/7 source of soccer radio, featuring Ray Hudson, Tony Miola, Rodney Marsh, and the brand new USL All Access, featuring Mike Watts and Devin Kerr every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Fans of the USL can listen to the best matches of the week, along with action from all of the top leagues. Sirius XM FC, channel 157 on your Sirius XM radio and the Sirius XM app.
I'll tease this, if I'm a Phoenix Rising fan, I would pay extra close attention to Tuesday night's show.
I was going to ask for a tease, and I think we got it right there.
There may or may not be someone from the club, from the coaching staff, possibly talking about the movement in the transfer market, what has taken shape, what could be to come.
Whoa.
Just saying. I'm just saying. Someone may be joining us.
Oh boy.
It's from what I hear. You know, I don't get to talk about a lot of things without getting myself into trouble. That should be a good one.
Have you enjoyed the show through a couple weeks now?
I have. Yeah, it's been a fun journey so far. You know, definitely different than, of course, being involved in match analysis, but some studio experience previously, paired alongside Mike Watts, and some great guests so far. Rumor has it that there may be another little tease, another person joining us from League One. Again, I can neither confirm nor deny.
Whoa.
So, yeah, it's been great. Very lucky. Good producers. Andrew Williams does a great job for counterattack, and he's definitely helped point us in the right direction.
I always said you had a face for radio.
That, you know, you and my mom. So.
This is off of Darnell King's back and out of play. Throw in coming for Oakland. It's time for Sonic Happy Hour, brought to you by Sonic. The rising player scores during the 60th minute. One lucky fan will win a $500 Sonic gift card. For more information, visit phxrisingfc.com/Sonic. Here comes Oakland. Some room to work down the middle. Trying to get this out wide. Blackwood rolls this in, and Musa clears it right away. Here comes Moar.
Those are the little things, Josh, that are going to take some time, because in fact I had the movement of Tyler Blackwood out on this right flank, but he needed to play a little bit sooner. Allowed Ryan Flood to just track back a little bit here. Help out defensively. A lot of space for Tyler Blackwood to run into, and was so good at doing that with Anthony Pulis and Steve Tritschu at St. Louis FC prior to them departing the USL Championship.
Well, the Sonic Happy Hour has come and gone, and we'll have to look for our winner next week. Here's Akeem Ward. Coming centrally, Flores on the turn. Cross comes in, punched away by Lunt. Slipped in again, Akeem Ward taken off the ball by Lambert. And now Asante, able to stretch his legs. It's this centrally for Lambert, who keeps it moving. Quinn, diagonal ball, brings this down. Moar does. I think he was caught in between the volley or whether to take a touch.
We could see him lining this thing up like he wanted to put his name in lights for sure. Back himself a brace. 2 assists and a goal last week. And as this thing comes back over the top, he almost pump fakes like, hey, I'm gonna hit it. And then realizes he's got a trailing run to bring it back down. Sees Dadashov, loses it in the lights. Forgets the task at hand. It was a much better buildup from the Oakland Roots on the other side of the field, though, and were it not for a poorly timed touch by Danny Flores, he would have been in. It was a good little turn, but it bounced the wrong direction. Rising able to close him down.
Looks like subs readying on both sides. Kevin Lambert will come off. It'll be the Phoenix Rising debut for Jeremy Kelly. And Loney from the Colorado Rapids, and Noah Billingsley as well. So Darnell King and Kevin Lambert will check out. First subs of the match for Phoenix Rising, and looks like Oakland will also make a couple of subs here in a moment. Soya Takahashi and Johannes Harish will come on for Oakland Roots.
This is going to see some changes as well for that back line of Oakland Roots, as Akeem Ward will now come over to the right side. Takahashi will go over to the left back spot. Johannes Harish has stepped in for their striker, Mokila, up top. It just wasn't as effective here in the second half. Josh couldn't find a way to find that presence that I mentioned they needed him to be more active and play off of.
Cross comes in, just a little bit too tall, and Lunt rises up to make this catch. There's a look at Takahashi just coming on.
I got him.
Well, Oakland Roots will be road warriors for quite some time. They won't be at home until June 19th. Their first 4 are on the road, and of course, they'll be playing at Laney College right there in the middle of Oakland. June 19th will be the first home match for Oakland Roots.
That's really difficult for a player. We've seen it in the past couple of seasons where teams have had to go on the road more than they would have liked to. I'm talking pre-pandemic, by the way, because obviously 2020 threw everybody a curve. Remember Hartford Athletic in their inaugural season, opening 8 games and on the road, and I believe 6 of them were against teams that in the previous year had not only made the playoffs, but 5 out of the 6 had finished in the top 4, or excuse me, finished in the top 6, excuse me. It's just, you're set up to fail, and I'm not saying that Oakland Roots are in that same situation here, because these are some winnable games that they have upcoming. You never know what you're going to get out of sometimes a controversial, given the types of players they have in Los Dos. Talented for sure, but you can have 18-year-olds and you can have 28-year-olds, right?
Yep.
Sacramento Republic, Mark Briggs, that'll be a tough test. Orange County, still not necessarily sure what they are, as they haven't stepped up yet. And then they finally get to go home, as there is your substitute. Takahashi and his momentum running right into the backside of John Baccaro. Very polite of him to make friends just after his debut, stepping on the field.
Sure. Asante. Little hesitation. Weaving through, he goes down and loses out. Flood coming from behind, and friendly fire there. A great touch by Musa. Immediately conceded. Cutting in field. And the Roots pull one back here. Takahashi's cross is cleared away. Well, as far as we know, today only happens once. Make it count. Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey, proud partner of Phoenix Rising. Asante picks this off, and that's an easy finish. A brace for Solomon Asante, his first 2 goals on the season. And Phoenix Rising picking up right where they left off a week ago.
It doesn't matter what you do with your rotation, trying to find a way to fight back into a match, Josh, for the Oakland Roots. Jordan Farrell, it is now going to become an uphill battle where, much like San Diego Loyal last week, they are fighting against themselves. The non-save against Santi Mowar, the inability to clear off the first goal, and the ineffective ability to play out of the back by their goalkeeper, De La Paz, has gotten them in trouble once again, just gifting opportunities to Phoenix Rising. You can't do that in general, yet alone for the back-to-back MVP, who puts another one to the tally.
And that goal brought to you by Arizona Federal Credit Union. Well, here comes Oakland trying to respond. Shot comes on, and Lute makes his first save of the night. And we knew coming in it would not be easy for Oakland. Of course, going up against this Phoenix side that does this to seemingly many teams around the league.
I tell you, I love the shout just after this, though, because even though they had just scored and they're up 3-0, the movement coming from Oakland Roots. And the loney Ben Lute, the goalkeeper who's just joined, gets the start tonight. Has the confidence to step up, and he called out John Beccari. He said, John, this is your guy. You got to follow. They want to keep this clean sheet. They know how important that 0 is. And these are the games where mentally you got to fine-tune yourself, because it's real simple right now to start to tune off from the game plan. You don't want to do that. Finish the game off. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to add to the goal tally, but let's see how charismatic they can be in nature in their buildup. Watch the disposition on the back line. Love the communication coming from Ben Lute just a second ago.
And last week, Phoenix unable to keep that clean sheet. Ben Spencer's goal made it 2-1 at the time before Phoenix then added on 2 more. I'm sure Phoenix want to keep going here. 20 minutes left. Mowar couldn't connect with Dadashov. Flood, and knocked out a play. And a player down here for Oakland. Looks like that is Akeem Ward, who is down. Very active night for the 25-year-old, spending last year with North Carolina.
He's had a busy night for sure. Started on the left, came back over to the right. One of their players, Taryn Weir, was actually the main man out on the left side and just gets caught up on the turf a little bit here. Watch the trailing foot. Gets caught underneath him, and that left side of him lands a little awkward. Trying to see as to whether or not in the final 20 minutes here, just inside anyway, he'll be able to see this thing out.
Fans, follow your club and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN+, home to the USL, MLS, Bundesliga, UFC, and more. Join the more than 12 million sports fans who've already discovered ESPN+ and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com. Long throw-in. Adewole pings one out to that right side. Asante unable to keep it in play. Sprout stat of the game, Solomon Asante, a brace tonight. First 2 goals of the season for the captain.
No one told him he had to ease his way into the season, huh?
No.
But think about this, by the way. When we entered the 2018 season, only one player ever had accomplished the double-double. And what I'm referencing is double-digit goals and double-digit assists in a single season. That was Irvin Parra, and he did it in a combination of teams. We've now seen multiple players throw their name into the hat, 2 of which are on the field right now, Solomon Asante and Aiden Quinn. Aiden Quinn did it in 2018 under Orange County. What I'm getting at, though, is in the past couple of years, though multiple players have now achieved that feat, no one has done it in back-to-back seasons except for Solomon Asante. And think about the numbers he put up last year. The fact that he had 8 goals and 9 assists in 17 games. He needed 2 goals and 1 assist in a traditional sense of the word of a season, would have been 34 games, in 17 more games. Another half of the season to do it 3 years running. It's absurd and it's not fair, and I want to talk to someone about it. Waiter, get Bobby Dooley on the phone. He's playing games over there. He's playing mind games. He's messing with people.
He's a handful to deal with each and every week. And last year at times, it felt like Rick Schantz was kind of tweaking that formation just to try to get some players on the field. He dropped a little bit deeper into the midfield at times to get Flemings and some other wingers on Moar.
Well, and their ability to become that chameleon-like squad, for me, was the reason they were able to progress into the final. Because the team that was in 2019 that set all those records, it was wins, consecutive overall, points, points per game, goals, things that are going to stand what you would imagine for quite some time, although we made that argument for Cincinnati in 2018, and look how that worked out. Just took 1 season for Rising to eclipse that mark. But they were very predictable. They had established this rhythm of where they were going to be successful, and teams figured that out. Fresno was the first one to do it. I mentioned Monarchs did it twice. And their ability to find another gear, to figure out that, much like what you referenced in Rick Shantz's words about Aiden Quinn, he doesn't need all of these guys to be the best at what they can be. He needs them the best at what they can be for this team. So maybe it's not always Aiden Quinn taking that extra step into the third and being on the ball all the time. He can help distribute, and he doesn't have to play 60, 70 passes a match. Maybe John Beccaro doesn't have to rotate out as much. Maybe Dadashov doesn't have to bag 15 or 20 goals, although it would be nice. There are so many different areas that you can be successful in without making sure that you are 100% the best at that spot all the time. You pick and choose your moments, you work off of each other, and you make sure you're the best as a team. And that's taken them a little bit of time to get here, right?
Yeah, it was a tough preseason for them.
And I'm not glorifying this team by any means. I understand that we're 2 games in. I'm just talking about the process from 2017 until now. You went a squad that had 3, 4 names, guys that stood out, to where we're at now, where every position seems like not only are they good, they have depth.
Trying to come down that right side and to look at Noah Billingsley. And the referee will stop play for a moment. A couple of subs coming on now for Phoenix Rising. It'll be Prince Sadie along with Joey Farrell coming on. It looks like a couple coming on for Oakland Roots as well. So Moar will make his way off. Another goal for him tonight. Now 2 goals and 2 assists in 2 games. And a look at the goal, just Route 1.
Well, this reminds me of that magnificent ball played up over the top 2 years ago by James Musa to Adam John. Of course, this finish is a little bit different, but great vision by the center back. Well done by the Spaniard to finish things off. Explosive into the final third. Picks out his moment. buries it.
Leading the match is number 10, Lindo Mofeka.
So Mofeka is off. Oriel Mumba is on.
Entering the match is number 17, Tam Weir.
And Tarn Weir also coming on.
Tyler Blackwood.
Well, Blackwood is the one to come off. So all 5 subs have now been used by Oakland. For Prince Sadie coming over from Miami FC. And here he is on the ball. Now Joey Farrell in his now 4th season with Phoenix Rising. He's coming over with the Rochester Rhinos after a couple of seasons there. 16 appearances for Farrell, now 27 years old. So Phoenix is right back at it next week, but Oakland Roots, they will wait 2 more weeks before they are in action against Los Dos. As we mentioned, their first 4 on the road. Cross comes in and a diving header out. Oakland still looking for that first goal, and now they'll have a set piece.
They're pretty high, Phoenix Rising, on Noah Billingsley, and it just gets caught up here. Can't be so nonchalant trying to play out of the back. Good pressure by Oakland Roots. Coming all the way across, Chuy Enriquez is the high line of Tarn Weir trying to help out there. It's going to be a decisive moment for Oakland Roots. 10 minutes to go. Of course, the game is never over in this beautiful game that we call football, and just pick something out.
Punched away by Lunt on the volley and straight out of play. The United Soccer League, all 31 championship clubs and its players stand together in support of diversity, inclusivity, equality, and compassion. For more information on the USL's commitment to change through the United Against Racism campaign, visit uslsoccer.com. 10 minutes to go.
Apparently the club is going to give her something at the end of the game because they feel bad for hitting her. If we want to capture her at the end of the game.
Of course, it's Jordan Farrell at the helm of this Oakland Roots side tonight, coming in on an interim basis. He's the technical director. He started this season as an assistant coach. Dario Pott was hired as the head coach, but he parted ways with the club at the end of April. So it's Jordan Farrell who is in this role, and he's been the head coach for this team through their NISA years, and he wasn't expected to be the head man, but as of right now, he is leading this club into the USL Championship.
It's going to be difficult for any team, Joss, as an expansion franchise coming into this league. We've seen it in recent history. New Mexico United, El Paso Locomotive, of course, both of them having success in their inaugural years. United on their Open Cup run. El Paso Locomotive, of course, back-to-back Western Conference finalists under Mark Lowry. Other teams haven't really shared the same success. Hartford Athletic, Miami FC. Miami FC is the one that I want to talk about, though, because both of those teams, referencing Oakland and Miami, did have experience prior. And I give credit to the organization, though, because even though they had to make the coaching change and, you know, their vision just didn't necessarily align with what was going on with Dario Pott. You know, the players weren't happy. You know, front office recognized that they had an issue on their hands, and they stepped up and said, listen, we are going to go in another direction. We're going to part ways now. That shows you, though, that they have bought into what their culture and vision is on the field, right? Because we've talked about what's gone on off the field. I alluded to it at the beginning. You mentioned how with the jerseys, the PR, the communication, they're heavily involved and invested. And as the year plays out, we will talk about it more within the community. All the initiatives put forth. But to get it right on the field is the difficult one too, and then to have the balance is the key ask for this organization. So kudos to them for stepping up, and not easy for Jordan Farrell, right? An opportunity for him to move into more of a leadership type role. Talk to him about that, what it was like at Sacramento Republic under Todd Donovan. You know, who do you lean on as mentorish type roles? There's a rough challenge.
Right at the edge of the area. Was this in the box? It was right at the corner, and a yellow card to Noah Billingsley.
He can't believe it here, but it's the studs up type nature that's going to get him in trouble on this tackle right at the elbow of the 18. Watch the outstretched leg right there. That's the problem, is you come high and then come down. That's a better look, because there's the tiniest of touches put forth by the substitute Takahashi. Noah Billingsley doesn't agree here. Brute force behind the outside back on this challenge. And just to put a bow on it, Josh, before they get this set piece opportunity, it's better that the decision is made now for the Oakland Roots and push themselves in the right direction, because they've gotten so much right, and they knew they had to nip it in the butt now. They've done that. The players have bought in, the ownership have bought in. The results will come. It's just going to take a bit of time.
This is a club that is so invested in the community. Jordan Farrell told us about all of that in our talk yesterday. In the meantime, a set piece now for Oakland Roots. Will be whipped in. Lunt punches it away. Corner kick, Oakland. Another in-swinger towards Lunt. A bit of traffic in there. And here comes Phoenix. Sadie has his jersey pulled. And now the referee will bring this back. This should be a yellow card. And it is.
Good job by Elton Garcia. To be fair, Fisori in the midfield had to make a decision, because the speed that we've heard about from Prince AD coming over from Miami FC, who we just talked about, was on full exhibition here. Ball behind him, picks it up. Little forearm shiver, got out in front. Where have we seen that before? Ooh.
Challenge coming in. That was Quinn. And this will be a conversation. A yellow card, and tensions are rising.
Hey guys, can you step out of the way? Hey guys, can you step? Hey.
It's a rough challenge for sure, and Andy Quinn again, studs up are what we saw previously by Billingsley, but watch this one. Right there, the outstretch. Some referees might even head another direction, and everybody's going to argue that he gets the ball. You have to understand there's intent behind this as well. You cannot lead in that fashion. You don't have to agree with the rule, but it is in the book. And now, so is Aiden Quinn.
And the yellow card has now been issued to Akeem Ward and James Musa. I think that was for dissent after the play.
You know, James Musa had that big elbow shove in that scrum that was going on too, and emotions running high for sure, and Phoenix Rising aren't willing to take a chance. They're going to pull Aiden Quinn off here. They're trying to get the referee's attention, but fourth official going to set it down. Joey Kalisri is going to have to wait a few more precious moments.
In the meantime, another set piece for Oakland. 3 minutes to go. Flipped in, and Lunt, two-handed catch. He'll distribute quickly. Sadie chasing this down. Asante sitting on a hat trick. Quick footwork and a free kick. And it looks like now Phoenix will make that sub. Aiden Quinn, his night is complete. Joey Calistri will come on.
Another quiet but well put together performance by Aiden Quinn. Again, it's going to be a different look. Fans of that young man, who, as I've mentioned in previous broadcasts across this league with Orange County, Phoenix Rising, that he might be the best midfielder in the entire USL Championship. Hasn't been as efficient on the ball over the past 2 matches. That'll come with time. Remember, this is a team in Phoenix Rising that heavily struggled in preseason. And the fact that they've been able to bag 7 goals, only given up 1 so far in the first 2, it's a stark difference from what we saw just a few short weeks ago.
Picaro will send this in, looking for goal 4. De La Paz knocks it away. Asante gets there first. Another ball in, back post. And this is off the crossbar. Looked like that was headed out of play. And this stays in play now for Oakland as they come back the other way. Farrell steps in and knocked back for Luntz. And that last sub, it was one soccer tennis teammate coming on for another. Apparently that's been all the rage at training for Phoenix Rising. We'll have to dig into that in the next few weeks.
Well, they had some interesting nicknames for their matchups as well, the little duos. Saw Aiden Quinn winning some money, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, him and Joey Calistri.
That was the partner.
And to Phoenix Rising Twitter.
What do you think they spent the money on?
It's a great question. Maybe some Sonic milkshakes.
I was going to say dessert. So you and I are aligned for sure. We got to talk after this match.
Picaro. Ward knocks this out as we get into our Sprout stoppage time. It'll be 3 minutes added on to the end of this 90. A match that has been pretty much controlled by Phoenix Rising from the get-go. There were a couple chances throughout that first 45 minutes for Oakland to get it back level. Jeremy Bokila had the best chance. Nothing really testing Ben Luntz in goal in his Phoenix debut. Sante gets this in. Run through for Beccaro. Must have gotten hit in the face as he went down, and he's holding his face. Asante. If you're Oakland, you'll have another week to learn from this game, but what do they take out of this? Obviously, going up against one of the best teams in the league, it's a rude awakening, but I'm sure there's still some lessons there.
Well, you have to take the fact that it was only 1-0 at halftime first and foremost. That's a good look for them, and a lot of self-imposed mistakes in the opening 45 minutes. That's not the end of the world. And to your point, Rising, is it the best in the league? Of course, we don't have the tail of the tape at the end of 2020. But they're definitely, you know, for most people, top 5 for sure. So you're able to hang in there, and establishing an identity is one thing. Executing is another. And how about the work rate by Dadashov, by the way? Up 3-0, 30 seconds or plus to go on the clock and still chasing this thing down for a holdup. But it's going to take time, Josh. It's a process, and it sounds so cliche, but unless you've been involved in it, you don't truly understand what it's like for a team in general. Coming into the season, out of preseason, finding form. Where are we best at? What are our weaknesses? We need to develop this. We need to go out into the market and get that. And now we're talking about an expansion team. So multiply that umpteen times, and that's where Oakland roots are. Again, I go back to the fact that they've gotten so much right off the field that they understand it's going to be an uphill battle, but they're committed. I can tell you this, off the record, as everybody hears this, I know a lot of teams having conversations in previous years that they weren't committed, right? They weren't part of the process. They were concerned about what was right there in front of them. There was no big picture. That's not the case for Oakland Roots. Phoenix Rising, on the other hand, they rebranded in 17. They've been through that expansion style process, but now this has become a well-oiled machine who has put together another quality victory that will see them atop the USL Championship.
So Phoenix Rising, a 3-0 win over Oakland Roots in their USL Championship debut. Asante got the scoring started early and finished it late. 3-0 in the end. So we'll come back and wrap things up here from Wild Horse Pass. It finishes Phoenix 3, Oakland 0.
Equality Health is giving doctors more time to be doctors, so they can give you the care you deserve. Ask if your doctor is part of the Equality Health Network today. Equality Health. Caring is back.
Pacific Office Automation is the one source for all of your business technology. Copiers and printers. Managed IT and cloud services. Unified communications and telephones. Security systems and cameras. Complete conference room packages. You need to partner with a total office solutions provider that gets it. Pacific Office Automation. Problem solved.
Another celebratory mood here at Wild Horse Pass Stadium as Solomon Asante greets the fans after the 3-0 win. His brace propels Phoenix tonight. So a 3-0 win, which means plenty of highlights to look at for Phoenix Rising. And it started early, the 10th minute. Mistake at the back turns into glory for Phoenix.
Really well done by Phoenix Rising, and the fact that they were able to apply the pressure. And look, I think it's easy to look at the fact that it's a bad ball playing out for sure, but the fact that they were already in position because they were trying to employ their press. The initial line of confrontation was bypassed, but they couldn't get through the second line, so they make them play back, they pounce on them, they get their opening goal. There's a response, though, from Oakland Roots, and I actually thought as the first half progressed, Josh, we did see better movements, especially out of their number 9 up top, and Jeremy Bokila. Rick Schantz talked about in the matchup in this game, he was going to be a problem, and he was in the first half. He's not able to pick out the far corner. Ben Lund gets a little bit luckier because he was off his line to the side, just sails to the side as well to his right. And then, right where he needed to be, Santi Moar, James Musa. That 2019 record-breaking season, he was so good in those long 30, 40-yard balls, finding Adam John, finding Solomon Asante moving forward. Santi Moar is now the recipient of said distribution. And then Aiden Quinn, as this gets knocked up over the top, it's not a great ball that he takes a chance on. That's fine, but it's really poor playing off the back line. Couple of mistakes for the goalkeeper from Oakland Roots. De La Paz will have to go back, watch the tape, and recognize that for a guy that, from what I hear, historically is pretty decent with his feet, had an off night, got him in trouble, and it got him in trouble to the tune of 3-0.
Well, the shots were actually pretty even there. Phoenix with 11, Oakland with 9. They conceded the possession battle, but in the end, Phoenix just too much.
25% of their shots, just over, I should say, ended up in the back of the net, and 50% of them on the one that's hit target ended up in the back of the net. That's efficiency at its finest. Those are numbers that we started to see from the likes of the Pittsburgh Riverhounds at the start of 2020, where most teams finish the season at a conversion rate around 20-21%. Pittsburgh was hovering just under 40 for quite some time. Phoenix following the same lesson.
Well, a dominating performance tonight from Phoenix Rising. 6 points out of 2 games. As for Oakland Roots, well, it was a tough welcome to the USL Championship, but still a lot to come. That's going to do it tonight from Wild Horse Pass Stadium in Chandler, Arizona. For our entire crew and broadcast partner Devin Kerr, I'm Josh Eastern signing off. It finishes Phoenix 3, Oakland 0. Good night from Arizona.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.